Okay, this is a short little lesson on how to evaluate limits. Okay, so limits mean the x is never actually going to get to that number. The limit as x approaches 2. X is never actually going to really get to 2. It's going to get very, very close to it, but it's not actually going to get equal to 2. But it's going to get so close that we can pretty much pretend like it is 2. Okay, so the limit as x approaches 2, most times I can actually I'm going to pretend it is 2. So I'm just going to put the 2 into the equation. So it's going to equal 2 plus 4, which equals 6. So as x gets really close to 2, the equation is going to get really close to 6. The limit as x gets really, really close to 0, well, let's put a 0 in. Equals 5 minus 2 times 0, which is going to equal 3. So as x gets really, really close to 0, the equation is going to get really, really, really close to 3. Limit as x approaches 1. Okay, again, just put the 1 in. We're going to pretend it's going to be really close. So we're going to have 1 squared minus 4 times 1 divided by 1. Okay, 1 squared is just 1. Subtract 4 divided by 1. That's going to just give me negative 3. So as x gets really, really, really close to 1, the equation is going to get really, really close to negative 3. Now, sometimes you have a bit of an issue, especially when you have an equation that is a rational number or a fraction. Because rational numbers cannot have zeros on the denominator. Okay? If I have a 0 on the denominator, who cares what I have on top? But if I have a 0 on the denominator, that technically equals infinity. That's undefined. That's a problem. So, I need to, if I have a case where that's going to happen, like this right here, h is going to go to 0. We're going to get very, very close to 0. If I put 0 in, I want to have a 0 on the bottom. That's an issue. Okay? So what I need to do is I need to do something to make sure that my bottom is not going to go to 0. And most times that means I can just factor and things will kind of work out. So what I'm going to do, and I haven't taken the limit yet, so I still have to write it down. I'm going to common factor an h out of the top. Okay? And now my h on the top and the bottom are going to cancel out. I'm going to the limit as h approaches 0, h minus 3. Now I haven't actually put the value in, so I still need to write out that I'm going to take this limit. Now I can put in the 0 because I don't have a denominator anymore. I don't have to worry about the denominator going to 0. Okay, life's good. So 0 minus 3 equals negative 3. Okay, once you get to a point on your denominator where you're not worried about it going to 0 when you put the number in, you can just put your value in. Okay, so I got rid of the h on the bottom. I'm not worried if I put a 0 in, the bottom's not going to go 0 anymore. I can just put the value in and solve. Let's take another question. Limit as x approaches 2. Okay, and I have this equation. Now if I put a 2 in right away, I'm going to have 2 subtract 2 on the bottom. That's a problem. 2 subtract 2 is 0. I cannot have 0 on the bottom of my equation, of a fraction. Okay, so let's do a little bit of work. Let's factor. So if I factor the top, I'm going to have, that's difference of squares, x plus 2, x minus 2. I have x minus 2 on the bottom. I haven't taken the limit, so I got to write out first. Okay, I can cancel out. I can cancel out x minus 2 is on the top and the bottom. So that just leaves me with limit as x approaches 2. And I have just simply an x plus 2 left. I don't have a denominator of the fraction to worry about anymore. I'm not worried about it going to 0 anymore. I can simply just put it in the 2 for my x now. So as x approaches 2, the equation is going to approach 4. Limit as x approaches 3. If I put a 3 in right away, that denominator is going to 0. Same thing. Let's factor. This is a simple trinomial. What multiplies to negative 6 and adds to negative 1? Well, that's negative 3 and 2. Okay, so I might have limit x approaches 3. I want to have x minus 3. I want to have x plus 2 divided by x minus 3. My x minus 3's can cancel out. Limit x approaches 3. I get x plus 2. I don't have a denominator anymore. I don't need to worry about putting in my value. So I can just simply put it in. 3 plus 2 equals 5. Okay? So a short little lesson on The only time you have to worry about is if your denominator is going to go to 0, then you need to do some factoring or some algebra to make sure that it's not. Thank you very much.